Hey everyone, so the Choquequirao to Machu Picchu trek. So from Cusco, you can take a bus from the main bus terminal, which is right here. This thing. And I didn't get a ticket in advance. I just showed up there at like 7 a.m. and bought a ticket for a bus that was going at 8 a.m. You wanna look for the buses going to Abancay, but the bus I ended up going with was actually going all the way to Lima. You can also go there a day ahead and purchase the ticket in advance, but I don't think it's necessary. Or you can use an app like Redbus, but I wouldn't use the app to purchase the ticket because you can't actually get the ticket to Ramal de Cachora, which is where you wanna go. You can just get the ticket all the way to Abancay, which is a bit further, so it's probably more expensive. So you can just use the app to check the departures of the buses. So it seems like the buses were going in the morning, like 8 a.m. with the one I went, but also there was buses going at around noon. And in hindsight, I think it's better to take the buses at around noon. But yeah, I'll explain it later. So yeah, so took a bus from here, and it was a 4.5 hour ride to Ramal de Cachora, which is here, yes. And now the bus won't stop there unless you actually get a ticket to that place or tell the driver to stop there. So just make sure you do that. And it was like 4.5 hours, and this was actually a terrible bus ride. Like the first hour, there was some lady like selling some Chinese medicine or whatever, and she had an amplifier and going around the bus freaking advertising and trying to sell stuff. They didn't let me put my big hiking backpack in the trunk because yeah, they just stopped there for a second, kicked me out, and that's about it because it's not like an official stop. Like every 2 minutes people were going to the toilet for some reason, and I had my backpack in the alley, so I was moving constantly. Yeah, it was very bad bus ride. And actually, when I was looking at the red bus for the buses reviews, the buses that went in the morning pretty much all had very bad reviews, and the buses that went at around noon pretty much all had pretty good reviews. So yeah, whatever. So half past noon or maybe 1 p.m. I'm at this bus stop, and there are taxis actually there usually, and there were taxis there waiting. So yeah, I wanted to go to Cachora and a bit further. So the bus was 30 soles. Then the taxis, they wanted 40 soles to go to Cachora and 80 soles to go all the way to the trail start, or I guess the furthest the car can go, which is here, just say to the Capuliok. So I think those were some pretty expensive taxis. But actually, there was another guy, Peruano from Arequipa, who was going to the same place. So we took the taxi together, and we paid 100. So yeah, 50 soles for one. I'm here at like 2 p.m. Like the Capuyok. But at that point, I haven't eaten, and so yeah, I'm just having lunch here. So like at 3 p.m. I get started. So the first day, or I guess I call it a day zero because the only hiking I did was I just went down a bit and just went for 2 hours, like 8 kilometers. So this brings me as to why I think it's better to take the buses that go around noon, because then you will be there, you know, maybe like 6-7 p.m. and you can just sleep at this hostel. Usually it says camping on this map, but mostly they've got beds as well, so So yeah, I think it's better to arrive in the evening here, just have some dinner and chill, and start in the morning. So that's why I think it's better to take the buses around noon. So day zero, like 5 p.m., I arrived here. Is to this hostel or camp spot. I just had something to eat and went to bed. Next day I started fairly early, like 6:30, because I wanted to go as high as possible before the heat hits. I went down here to Playa Salina. I didn't want to sleep there because I was afraid of the mosquitoes close to the river. And then it's just up. It's a clear, obvious trail. There's camp spots, with restaurants and some small groceries along the way. So yeah, and then the first major village, I guess the only major village, is here, Marampata. Also plenty of beds and stuff. I was there at around noon, so I just continued to this camping spot, Choquequirao camping spot. Now this camping spot actually has a shower, toilets. You need to have your own tent, but it's free actually. It's included with the ticket to the Choquequirao, which I forgot to mention, which you actually buy right here at the trail start. That map shows it, yeah, there it is. Ticket office to Choquequirao. And they asked me if I was just going to Choquequirao and back, or if I was going to Machu Picchu. And based on that, they sold me either 4 or 8 days ticket. So I paid 60 soles. I guess it might be cheaper if you are just going up and down Choquequirao. So this brings me to how I would want to do just Choquequirao, up and down again. So I would take the bus at around noon from Cusco, sleep the first night here at the trail start. Then the first day I would go all the way up to Marampata, which the guided hikes usually do it in 2 days, but there's absolutely no reason. I mean, you can go here light, pretty much, as I said at the Colca Canyon guides, just pretty much butt naked with some sunscreen and a bottle of water, and probably you can even do without the water, because literally like every 5 kilometers there are camp spots with restaurants and small stores. I think in 8 hours from the trail start to Marampata is fine. Or I guess I would be, maybe for some people it would take more. But yeah, that would be something like 22 kilometers and 1600 meters of elevation gain. Maybe that sounds like a lot for some people, but doing it light, I think it's no big deal in a day. So that's so. Then I would sleep one night at Marampata, and then I would go and check the whole site pretty much, and then back, maybe to Marampata, maybe to a bit further to one of these lower camps, depending on how much I would spend, going through the city, through the Choquequirao. And then the third day, I would just go back and either sleep at Cachora or figure out if I can get back to Cusco that same day, but probably one more night would be required. So that was my advice on how to do just the Choquequirao, but that's not what I did. I went to Machu Picchu. So let's continue with my journey. So the second day I arrived to this camp spot. I was there at like 1 p.m. So I made lunch, I made camp, and with the rest of the afternoon I went to check out this area, this house of the waterfall. It's pretty cool, and it's a bit of a sidetrack because from the camp it's 200 meters down and up. there's no way to connect it with the rest of the city, so it was a good activity for the afternoon. 200 meters of elevation down and up, of course. And then here the Capuleoc. Yeah, this is nothing. It's just terraces, which are everywhere. They are up here as well. So the third day, I picked up. Started, I think, shortly after 7 a.m. and went to check out the city. It's really cool. Probably good 4 hours, maybe 3-4 hours going through the city. So first I went to the Pikiwasi site, then to this house of the priest, then up here just a bit of a flat ground, whatever that's what, Usnu. And then this is the main square with lots of buildings, and also I went up here to these Kolkas and Hanan sector, or upper sector. But from here the map is actually a bit misleading. There is no way to connect this Hanan sector with the trail here. It's just dense vegetation, bushes. I searched, but yeah, there's just no way. You gotta go back down here and go around the terraces back to the main trail. So yeah, so then up the trail. Yeah, it's an obvious trail. It's not very big, but there's only this one and there's nothing else, so there's no way to get lost. Then up to this pass, it's almost 300 meters, and then it's down to the Rio Blanco river. So actually the camp spot I think all the guided tours use is here at this Pinchau Nuyok. Yeah. So it's at this site. It's actually another Inca site. So there are some terraces, there is water. You can sleep on the terraces actually, so that's pretty cool camping spot. But I was there I think at around 1-2 p.m. maybe, so a bit too early for me to settle down. Actually I was there earlier, I think like 12:30. Yeah, but whatever, it was a bit early, so I went down to the river. Yeah, and I was there at like 1:30 p.m. Yeah, because I made lunch there actually, bit late lunch, I remember. So at this point I had a choice to camp near the river. By the way, it's pretty terrible camping there, but you know, you can make do. There's no facilities, of course. But there aren't any facilities here either, but it's just a much better camping spot. Anyway, so I had a choice. I could continue to go up from the river, but the closest like camping is 1000 meters of elevation higher, so it would be really tight to fit that in the afternoon, and it was also pretty hot. So I decided to just have a shorter day and stay and camp at the river. Start early in the morning before it gets hot. So yeah, so that was day 3. Day 4, I went all the way up to the pass and to the Yanama village. I think most people would want to split that in 2 days, but I didn't, because here it started at like almost 1800 meters, very low, and the pass is at 4150 meters. Yeah, this is the pass. Yeah, San Juan Pass, 4150. And then with a little bit of up and down, like at around this part, it amounted to almost 2,500 of meters of elevation in that day. So yeah, probably not for most people. I was fine with that. And by the way, I forgot to mention, when I was talking about just doing the Choquequirao, I was talking about doing it light, because there's lots of camping and restaurants along the way. But doing the whole Choquequirao to Machu Picchu, you can't just go light. because from here, from Marampata to up here, I guess in these camps you can get something, but not much. So pretty much to Yanama there is nothing. So you will need your tent, you will need food for 3 days at least, I think, if you want to go light. I actually had food for like 6 days, because even when I was in a place that where they offered food, I usually ate my own. I guess it's possible, but would be a bit tough logistically. I guess if you would sleep at Marampata, check the city, go back to sleep at Marampata, and then start early and do a big day up to one of these camps, like this Familia Perez or this one, Senor Valentin. So yeah, that would actually be possible. So I take my words back. It's actually possible to do it just with a day pack. I think the whole trek would just be a bit awkward, I guess, logistically. So yeah, from Yanama actually you can take a colectivo and drive to Coipapampa, and from Coipapampa probably we can connect the colectivos all the way to the hydroelectrica. So if you don't want to hike anymore, you probably can get a ride, but you would be depriving yourself of the cool sights. So of course I didn't take the colectivo, I went on foot. So I started like 6:30 a.m. Mostly I didn't go on the road. Actually there is a trail here which sometimes overlaps with the road, but mostly it doesn't. So no issues, just go up the trail. It's a very nice alpine valley here. There up and then up this pass. Very cool views here. This is the highest point of the circuit, the Mariano Yamoca Pass. I think the sign actually on site said 4643 or something like that. Definitely didn't say this. But anyway, this was very nice. It was absolutely empty. I guess whatever few people walked on the Choquequirao to Machu Picchu trail, they just mostly, I think, take the colectivos. So absolutely alone there, and it's absolutely an epic mountain pass. On this side you can see this huge glacier, the Saksa Rayuk formations. On this side you can see the Salcantay, and just very nice views there. So then I just went down again. No need to go on the road. There's a trail, and I stopped probably somewhere around this point, and I had a early lunch. It was only like 11:30, but it was a really nice spot. So yeah, I just chilled there for like an hour, and then I continued. Nothing special here. It's just that here this is actually a pretty big river. Like no way to cross it dry, I guess. If there were places where I could cross it safely, I guess, but it would involve tossing my backpack on the other side and getting my shoes off and all that. So here is a fort, pretty big flow there. I wouldn't want to drive through that in a car actually. And here there was no way to cross, or again, just like I said, get wet. So no point to go down here. Just above this fort there were few planks positioned so you could get across. So yeah, this is where to cross it. It looks like they had a setup made of concrete for a bridge there. So I guess the bridge was either torn down or it just wasn't built yet. But anyway, yeah, so I just crossed it up here. And that's the Totoera village. I didn't stop there, I just went through. You could camp here, but it was pretty early, so I just continued. And I went on the road all the way to Coipapampa. That was day 4 actually, yeah. So this was like 30 kilometers and 1300 meters of elevation gain. And then on the 5th day, I wasn't actually sure where I wanted to stop. I was thinking about going all the way to the Machu Picchu town, to Aguascalientes, which is what ended up happening. Because, yeah, I felt good, so I was going. And I actually met a guy, Julius, like shortly after I started. And he was going through the Salcantay and wanted to do it in 2 days, so we pretty much had the same goal to get from Coipapampa all the way to Aguascalientes, so just went together. There's absolutely nothing to talk about. I mean, this valley is pretty cool, but yeah, it's a highway basically. At Coipapampa, you join the crowds that go through Salcantay, and like every 3 kilometers there's like camp and bar, restaurant, whatever. So yeah, just go on the trail and you don't need anything up there. Just put one foot in front of the other and you'll be fine. Just don't forget to get off the road or turn right here at Lukmabamba. And then from here it's up to the last pass. It's not very high. So from here it's 2000 meters and the pass is like 2800, so 800 meters up. Lots of camping here, lots of restaurants and little stores. And then here in this pass, Paso Yaktapata, from definitely don't go through the jungle here on the main path, but turn left here. There is a sign actually. It says viewpoint of 8 snowy peaks, and it really is a viewpoint, and it's an absolutely epic viewpoint. so I go a bit here. You can see Salcantay, Machu Picchu, and plenty other peaks. It's absolutely amazing viewpoint. And just go back a bit and back to the main trail. There's only one trail going down. Here there's a bit of an archaeological site, Yaktapata. It's one old building. Again, on the way down, a camp here, also up here, of course, and down here at the bottom. But actually, when we were going through there in the afternoon, it was closed up. No one was around, so we actually couldn't buy anything there. They probably don't expect anyone there in the afternoon. Yeah, anyway, so here join a road and go to the hydroelectrica in Tiwantana, and this is actually the closest road to the Machu Picchu town. So unless you wanna take a train out of there or to the Machu Picchu town, this is where you need to go to take some colectivos, and the train is actually extremely expensive. From the hydroelectrica is just along the railway. There is absolutely no issues there, and again many camps and little shops around the rails. So day 5 got to the Machu Picchu. Actually we met somewhere around here some policemen, and they were searching for some girl. So I don't know how that ended up, because we didn't see anyone. But actually what impacted us, that the police ended up giving us a ride from here, where the road starts, to the Aguascalientes, to the Machu Picchu town. So the last like 2 kilometers actually got it right. So at like 7 p.m. we are at Machu Picchu, and actually we managed to buy the tickets for the next day. The ticket office was open until 10 p.m. I couldn't choose a time, but there was a free spot for each of the circuits, I think. Even at that point at 7 p.m. high season. So yeah, that was nice. Oh yeah, at this point the Choquequirao to Machu Picchu trek is over. Now it's just Machu Picchu. So but it's what I did the next day. So I'll just talk about that as well for the sake of completion. So I got a ticket for Circuit 3 with the Huayna Picchu mountain. On the most popular Circuit 2, I didn't get that one because there was an option to combine it with either of the mountains. So I got the Circuit 3. 9 p.m. I think was the entrance. So yeah, I just went up, did the Machu Picchu thing, did the Huayna Picchu. Nice views. It's a pretty epic spot. Lots and lots of people. It's very crowded, but it's expected. The museum here, actually I was here shortly after 7 a.m. So it was a bit early for me to start the climb because I had the entrance for 9. So I wanted to check the museum, but actually it opens at 9. So I did check it out, but after I came back. So at like 1 p.m. I'm back at the Machu Picchu town. I had some food there, bought some souvenirs, and I asked for the train ticket. So the train ticket back to Cusco was $100, and there was no more train that day to go back to the hydroelectrica. I guess that one only goes in the morning. But also I spoke to some people there, and they said the ticket, the 10 kilometers to hydroelectrica was $40. So yeah, either way it's extremely expensive. So I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna walk. So at like 2:30 I think, I started walking back to the hydroelectrica station, and I walked very fast there. It's over 10 kilometers and I was done in 1.5 hours, because I was hoping to get some kind of collectivo back to Cusco, which I did, but the direct collectivo to Cusco leaves at 3 p.m. and after that it's a bit more complicated, you need to transfer. But anyway, so I was there at 4 p.m. There was a collectivo actually there waiting, not many people around, so I fit in fine. And that first collectivo took us to Santa Teresa, which is here. Then here at this bus station, yeah, collectivo a Santa Maria, so another collectivo to Santa Maria, which is up here when the map loads. And then from Santa Maria it's just straight to Cusco on this main road. The green road is actually asphalt. The roads before that were dirt roads. So yes, so I ended up getting to Cusco at like 11 p.m. Starting at 4 at the hydroelectrica. So that was my Choquequirao to Machu Picchu experience. Hopefully you can get some good info out of that. So let's sum up the costs. So first, the bus from Cusco to Ramal de Cachora, it was 30 soles. Then the taxi all the way here to the trail start, to here, what's that, Capulioc, was 50 soles, but there was 2 of us in the taxi. The first price they offered was 80 actually, just for me. It was another taxi. So at this point I'm at 80 soles. Here the entrance to the Choquequirao trail was 60. Yeah, so I'm at 140 soles. Then yeah, I don't know what I spent here, but you know, I bought a drink here and there, and the beds for the night were mostly around 25 soles here. Yeah, at Yanama it was 25 soles, and here it was 25 as well. And in between that, I slept in my tent, so that was 0. Um, then when I joined the Salcantay crowds at Coipapampa, this was actually 50 soles, but that was a 5-star of camping because it had dinner and breakfast included, and there was a warm shower, so it was actually worth it, the 50 soles. And then I didn't sleep anywhere. That was the longest day, the 5th day. It was over 40 kilometers and like a bit over 1,000 meters of elevation gain, I guess. It's just 800 meters up to this pass, but there is a little bit of up and down around the river, so it adds up. Yeah, and then entrance to Machu Picchu for what I did, which is the circuit 3 with the Huayna Picchu, was 200 soles. You know, getting it on the spot. I don't think you can get it cheaper online. Actually, it's more likely to be more expensive. And yeah, and then the collective was back. The first one was 10 soles. The second was 15, and then the Cusco was 30. So I forgot to add it all up, but yeah, it was pretty affordable. By far the most expensive thing was the ticket to Machu Picchu. And then if I wanted to take a train back to Cusco, that would be way more expensive than everything I spent combined. The trains are insanely expensive. So my stats were, or I ended up walking some 110 kilometers with a bit under 7,000 meters of elevation gain. It's actually very up and down. I think you saw it on the map, but the lowest point is here at 1,500 meters. The highest point is at 4,600, and there's a bunch of passes you need to go through. So yeah, you need to be fit for this one, or you can take longer. I think if you Google this trail, it usually says like 8-9 days, something like that. So for me it was 5 days, 6 days including the transport from Cusco, because the first day, or I call it day 0 in my videos, because I only walked 2 hours downhill late afternoon. So yeah, I can't count that as a day of hiking. And then on the 7th day, I managed to get to the Machu Picchu and all the way back to Cusco actually, so that was nice. Oh yeah, I didn't count the Machu Picchu stuff in the stats, so that was with the hike up the mountain and through the Machu Picchu, and also then along the rails to the Colectivo, it was like 23 kilometers. And the elevation gain, yeah, whatever is up here to Machu Picchu, like 700 meters. So it was that, the Choquequirao to Machu Picchu in 5 days, or 6 days including transport from Cusco to the trail start, 7 days from Cusco back to Cusco, including a trip to the Machu Picchu archaeological site.